Guys, we were literally just talking about what happened in Ibadan, where about 35 children were killed in a stampede while hoping to get Christmas food, only for the same thing to repeat itself.
You are an American black girl, you survived Tema Newtown, now you out in the Volta region, and you're doing boarding school at Le Clebe. Did I say correct?
No, it's totally wrong.
Always.
Le
Okay.
Clebe.
Le Clebe?
Le Clebe.
Okay.
Need to engage the services of an escrow company. So Ewell's Realty, we're the only company in Ghana that offers the escrow services, right? So what that means is that your fund, so let's say we're buying a plot of land for 10,000 CDs, okay? So the 10,000 CDs is not going to the seller immediately.
Where's it going to?
Hey darlings, and welcome back once again to another interesting, intriguing, and most importantly, educative and mind-blowing episode for what we have here on the stable of vibes upon vibes with Chivik. You know how we roll, right? When I say Oshe, you say what? Baddest. Oshe, baddest. It's always a vibe. It's always a lively and a very vibing moment right here on the stable of Vibe with Chivik, and you can't get it as a dull moment. So if you are new here and you're considering whether or whether you want to be a part and parcel of this one, like, what are you doing, darling? Darling, kindly hit on the subscription button, because I can assure you that you can get it as a dull moment right here, right? And yes, for my returnees, you're highly, absolutely welcome, and thank you very pretty much for always coming back to see what we've got going on here. I truly and deeply appreciate all your love, your support, your consent, and all those sweet comments you leave for me down in the comment section. Let's keep doing this, right? And with all this being said, if you like this video, hit on the like button, team like before watching, and let's delve quickly into what we have for today. As a Nigerian living in Nigeria, one thing that is constant, yes, is waking up every single day to either a bad news or a good news. But don't get it twisted, bad things happen everywhere and good things happen everywhere. And yes, this is Christmas season all over the world, most especially in my country, Nigeria. But what do we get, or what do we see every single day waking up to social media platforms? Seeing this news, hearing this story as they unfold, saddens my heart and breaks my heart to shreds. It's Christmas in Nigeria, and this is currently the update.
Guys, we were literally just talking about what happened in Ibadan, where about 35 children were killed in a stampede while hoping to get Christmas food, only for the same thing to repeat itself. Have you heard about what happened in Abuja and Anambra? At least 10 people died in another stampede at the Catholic church in Maitama, Abuja. I mean, the church was just trying to help. They were trying to give out food to the needy. What got around, people literally slept in front of the church, in front of their gate overnight, waiting for the food distribution to start.
We are here more than 10,000 in the morning, and the amount of people that want to enforce these gates to open, they are more than 3,000. They're pushed. They refuse to be disciplined. Calm down. Go in gently. They enforce the gates and force themselves inside. Those people at the front fell down. All the people at their back, they are marching on them.
Wow. People are hungry, guys.
Oga, there's hungry in this Nigeria. Everybody needs food. Every Nigerian needs food. We need help. We need help. Come and see a lot of people that die. They just open the gate.
This morning,
everybody just rush out. Rush. Then some people fell. Then they now started marching some people. They marched them till death.
What do we even say to their loved ones? Now, the same thing happened in Anambra. More than 20 people died in another stampede when the foundation was sharing rice. Again, they were just trying to help. This is an annual rice sharing event that they've been doing. It's not their first time at the Amaranta Stadium in Okija by the Obi Jackson Foundation. They've been doing this for years. They've never had a stampede. So many people died, not just adults, but children and even pregnant women. Guys, I saw videos. It's traumatizing. I saw a mother and her baby, both of them dead. Where do you even start with their loved ones? The church and the foundation were just trying to help, but because there is hunger in the land, like major hunger, things are tough, guys. People are desperate. Way more people are showing up at this kind of events this year than ever. It became too much for them. Now, the police in Nigeria have said that nobody should distribute anything unless they are notified ahead of time so that they can have enough security men present, because if you do and something happens, they are saying that you will be held accountable. I get it. We have to organize organize better. We have to do better. We have to have police present, even doctors present, ambulances if possible. But to be honest, guys, this is not the norm in Nigeria. We don't record stampedes like this during Christmas period. I still think that the important thing to do is to address the root cause of the stampedes. Once again, the presidency is investigating. With all the investigations that you've done on all the several stampedes that have happened this year alone, Miko, what have you done with your findings? Did your investigation not reveal to you that the root cause of all this is that people are hungry and desperate? I mean, what are you doing about that?
I haven't watched this and haven't seen this. One would tend to wonder, where did it all start? How did we get here? Especially if you are a Nigerian living in the diaspora. The way you left your country is definitely not the way it is, based on what you might be seeing. And the elephant in the room, the big question for each and every one of us to ask is, how did we get here? It's a food for thought. It's a question that's open for everyone to answer. But the unending and undying fact still remains that our leaders have crumbled our economy and our country is almost in shambles. Our hope and our belief is very slim. And it's as a result of the high rate of inflation, starvation, hunger that has led to the deterioration of what we are experiencing. Seeing the life of innocent citizens being lost in tragic situations like this, even where they went to look for their daily bread, they went to get their daily bread in favor of others. And you can't also blame others who rendered a helping hand in charitable works for the less privileged. But it is the same uncultured, unethical procedures, attitude of Nigerians, even some of the victims, that has led to this. But what do we say? May their soul rest in peace. This is Christmas in Nigeria. It saddens my heart personally, like I will tell you. And I keep wondering, what is the fate of these people? What is the fate of the bereaved? What is the fate of those who survived? And what is the fate of we who are alive, hoping and trying every way to survive? You wake up every day, you don't know what tomorrow holds for you. It is actually indeed not well in this country, and things has to be done. Things has to be said, and things must be done the right way. So that aside, guys, I actually stumbled also on videos of people who were born and left the motherland Ghana. Yes, for one reason or the other, they experienced life in different places, and they came back at the end of the day to trace and find their roots. In the course of that, they settled in and actually delved into lucrative businesses in the real estate sector. And yes, it's a story of a woman who has really gone far and is doing amazing well in the field and area of real estate. We all know how owning a land, getting a land, buying a land can be very, very stressful. Sometimes you end up losing your money and even end up in series of court cases upon court cases, or even who knows what, end up losing your life in the process. This story is definitely going to share a deep insight on how you can go about your land proceedings when purchasing your land, so that you would definitely be in safe hands. We're definitely going to take these video clips first, and secondly, on the other hand, a story of a young teenager from an African American parent, and they originally coming from the motherland as their own roots, thought it wise to send back their daughter back to her homeland for schooling. She went through the process of schooling with such an amazing experience, and she has a lot to tell us about her experience in her school in the motherland. We will take this video simultaneously, then come back to react further on it.
So I asked Gia to sit down and have a candid talk with me about her, what was it, 6 weeks of boarding school. So here you are, an American black girl, you survived Timbuktu Town, now you out in the Volta region, and you're doing boarding school at Le Clebe. Did I say
no,
correct?
it's totally wrong.
Always.
Le
Okay.
Clebe.
Le Clebe?
Le Clebe.
Okay, Le Clebe. Okay, Le Clebe. What's the whole name?
Senior high school.
Senior high school. So talk to them. What was it like? I'm gonna put the camera on you for a second.
Okay. Le Clebe Senior High School was pretty much fun. I had fun. Though it was kind of interesting with what they call a welcoming address. But
what's the welcoming address?
That's where most of my seniors did what seniors do, which is they semi-bully you, but not really bully you.
Okay, so what's an example of being bullied?
They asked me to run with my chop box.
With your chop box?
Yeah, yeah.
How far did you have to run?
I didn't run that much though, but once I got there, they asked me what's my name, where am I from, what's my house, who is my school mom and who is my school father. And my school mom is a chaplain of the school.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay, so I like that structure. You have a school mom, a school father, and what else do you have?
You have the house parents. That's the house that you're in, the parents that you have. So in case your house captain can't solve the problem, then you go to your house parents.
Okay.
But the school mom is just your senior. She's in third year. And that's basically who they give to you to take care of you.
Okay, what does that mean, taking care of you?
Making sure you've eaten. Sometimes they wash clothes for you. Sometimes they iron for you. They do mild things that what a parent would do.
Okay, so there is some help.
Yeah, but once she completes, then you're on your own.
Oh, so this is to help you transition into the school?
Yes.
And be a part of all the processes seamlessly?
Yes.
Okay.
The only difference is my school father disowned me.
Why did your school father disown you?
Because he played too much. That's just what he did. He
Okay.
disowned me, re-owned me, disowned me, re-owned me like 3 times.
Okay, so you out there, you spent 3.5 years among the gods, right? In the center of the God community, listening to God all the time, eating with them, learning their culture and customs. So now you're among the airways. What's one big difference?
I'd say language and taboos.
Okay, slow it down. Language. What's the difference in the language?
There's a big difference in the language.
Like?
I mean, you're speaking Ewa and the other tribe is speaking Ga.
So what is the difference with with the shape you have to make with your mouth, or the sounds, or what?
They haven't taught me a lot, but I know that in Ewe, Va is come. I know Jo is go. They're teaching me just petty little things.
So let me hear you were singing a little bit of the school anthem. Let me hear a little bit of that.
Okay, so our school anthem is, "Oh, great Lasek, arise and shine, for you are a bright star in the world. We, your children, hail and adore you. Indeed, you are a true mother of our time."
All right.
Oh, great Lasek, arise and shine, for you are a bright star in the world. We, your children, hail and adore you. Indeed, you are a true mother of our time. Great as always, we shall radiate your virtues of true godliness and honesty, wherever we may go.
Hey.
Our motto, Mila's Oligi, shall be our guide. We shall march on to academic excellence. With God, all things are possible. Great as always, we shall radiate your virtues of true godliness and honesty, wherever we may go. Our motto, Mila's Oligi, shall be our guide. We shall march on to academic excellence. With God, all things are possible. Then the headmaster or maybe assistant headmaster will say Lesek. Then you reply with Mila's Oligi. Lesek, we are marching towards academic excellence. Lesek, with God, all things are possible.
Hey, y'all know I like that, marching towards academic excellence. You learned that song that fast?
Yeah, the GP taught us a song.
Okay.
The girls prefix.
And that's one thing I tell Gia about. Gia's ear and her memorization are strong, which is why I'm always pushing her to use those gifts. And she always resisted me and wanted to do something different, but I'm going to win. Why? Okay, so tell me about discipline.
Okay, so they do discipline you in the school. There's a lot of rules to the school, and when you do something bad in the school, they have no problem with announcing it at assembly in front of everyone.
Ooh, so it's a little bit of
it was a couple of things that they did announce us about, and I was shocked that they would actually take their time and do that. Okay. But our school is very serious. We went for 2 debates while we were there.
And you joined the debate team, right?
Yeah, I joined the debate team, but I didn't talk. I was just there as a supporter.
Okay.
And I'm part of the choir and another
part of the
club.
Choir.
So the only thing I like about being in the choir is that choristers don't weed, because it's.
So is that why you got in the choir, in order not to weed?
No, that's not my reason for getting in the choir, but it was a benefit.
Okay, it's a benefit. Okay.
Yes.
All right, tell me about friends.
I have a couple of friends, but right now in my batch or in my year is Jane, Emmanuel, and some other people too. I met some other people, but we've had a couple of conflicts, so we're not on the best side right now. But
you know what I feel about friendship, so it's all relative.
Well,
so good.
Majority of my friends are my seniors. I love all my school mother, my school aunties, uncles, and the rest.
Tell me about environment, because David called me and said he was mad at me because I took my baby out to the woods. So tell them about the environment of Volta.
The environment is pretty nice. It's surrounded by trees, vegetation, and mountains. The only thing I would complain about is that due to the mountains, the area does become severely cold.
And I'm sitting over here in Palm jealous of her because I'm a polar bear in Africa. I want what she has. I want that cold.
You don't want what I have when you have to go fetch stream water and bath with it, and how cold stream water.
So you fetch your stream water.
Yes, sometimes you fetch stream. Sometimes too, when the tap is flowing, you fetch from the tap.
And then you bathing with it. So you back taking bucket baths.
Yes.
Wow.
Anything else you want to ask me?
Anything else you want to tell me? You was upset when I left you.
Yeah, but
and you missed. You was aching. Is it as bad as you thought?
It's not as bad because we're new, so we wanted to make sure they're as most welcoming as possible. But that's next year is when I'll face the reality.
Okay, so this is what I'm gonna say to diaspora parents: take the risk and invest in them. Give them that opportunity. I've said to a couple of my American friends in the U.S. who are beginning to have some jazziness from their children. I said, "Hey, Doc is over here. You're welcome to send your children, if you want to send your preteens to have a spell with us and give it a try of coming out of that type of educational structure." And so far with my daughter, who came to Africa as a delayed reader and with suspect behavior, I can say that Africa has strengthened her, made her much better, what we consider world citizen. And so that's something to consider. I'm proud of you, Gia Boo.
Thanks, Mom.
I'm really proud of you. She told me thank you for taking that gamble and taking her out there. You happy with me?
Yeah.
Okay, so all them people that thought she was mad, she's not mad. We okay. Here in Ghana.
Well, the first thing is you need to engage the services of an escrow company. So Ewells Realty, we're the only company in Ghana that offers the escrow services, right? So what that means is that your fund, so let's say we're buying a plot of land for 10,000 cedis, okay? So the 10,000 cedis is not going to the seller immediately.
Where's it going
It's going into the escrow account. That is overseen by the lawyer. All right, it's a custodian account, a third-party account. So that's where the 10,000 cedis is. Do you know over 90% of court cases are land-related? 70%.
In Ghana?
In Ghana. That's crazy. If a developer is just pushing for you to pay without any documentation, no sales and purchase agreement, no sort of reservation form. I mean, there's no documentation at all. I mean, that should be a red flag. Whenever there's unnecessary pressure, is a red flag. They should be able to provide you with all the documentation you need to do your search. If somebody gives you a title certificate and you take that title certificate and you run the search with the site plan at Lands Commission, it very well may come up in that person's name. But that's not what you do. You actually have to get a surveyor, go to the land, let the surveyor pick the points, get the coordinates, create a site plan, and then run a search based on that new site plan. And that will give you the information for the validity of the owner. People don't do that because you don't want to pay the surveyor. You don't want to pay to go through the Lands Commission process, and you don't want to wait 2-3 weeks for the process, right? Don't run from something to come to Ghana. You're running away from racism. You're running away from the new government. You're running away from this. You're running away from that. Don't do that. Come here with a purpose. What is your purpose? And be intentional about it. What are you coming here to do? If you're running away from something, you always be running away.
Interesting, yeah.
Hello guys, so welcome back again to another amazing episode. And as you guys already know, this is the diaspora transition episode where we have dialogue with diaspora who have decided to relocate from US, UK, other Caribbean countries, and currently living here on the continent, Ghana. And today we do have here someone very special. I've had so many emails of people getting duped, right? They try to buy lands, and then either they don't get their indenture, or they get their indenture by their litigation becomes a problem. And they don't try to do proper due diligence. Today we do have here experts who will speak to us on this matter and this affair. So the aspirants who are considering buying property here in Ghana won't go through this that has been happening. So we have someone special. She goes by the name Hannah Atase. And I'm so happy to have her on the show. It's been a long time coming. I've been trying to get it for a very long time. Finally, she's here. So without further ado, Hannah, welcome on the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me. You've been trying to get me for long. I've been trying to get on for long. Okay.
I know.
Thanks for having me.
Likewise. I'm happy to have you here. People are watching you for the first time. They might not know who you are. Please briefly introduce yourself to the people watching you for the first time.
Great. So I'm Hannah Tiase. I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a pastor as well.
I see.
And I am currently the founder of Ewell's Realty and Consultancy, which is really our brokerage. And we we look at ourselves as a gateway to real estate investment. So anybody overseas or another African country or US, UK, and you want to purchase real estate, what do? You come to Ewell's. We are your gateway to safeguarding your real estate investments.
I like
Ghana.
that.
Yeah.
Why is that so very important to safeguard someone's investment?
Well, real estate is probably one of the largest investments anybody would ever make, right? And so if you're going to inject a large amount of capital into any sort of investment, you want to make sure that all the systems and structures are in place, and especially where the regulatory framework may not be in place, you still want to make sure the system and processes are in place so that people feel comfortable, and people know that once they invest, they'll definitely get a return, because that's why we're investing, right?
I like that. You guys have been in business for over 10 years, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
I want us to deep dive into the real estate, but before we do that, let's just go back to your story, your personal story. Where did you grow up, and how did you find yourself in Ghana?
Okay, so I'm Ghanaian, right? So I was born in Ghana.
Yeah.
I was here for 40 days and then went to Ethiopia. So that's where my parents were living. So they were in Ethiopia for like 33 years. So my parents were in Ethiopia. So I lived in Ethiopia, and then I went to school in Kenya. And then from there, went to the UK. I was in Oxford for a couple of years, and then the US.
Oxford University?
No, I did my A-levels. So I was at Witchwood School, which is actually down the street from Oxford University. Yes. So then I went to the States, and now I'm back to my home country.
Interesting. So by how many years have you been back?
11 and a half.
11 years.
Yeah.
How did real estate start for you?
Do you know how I started real estate?
No.
From reading a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, by Robert Kiyosaki. So when I was reading it, and at that time I was working in the corporate environment, I was in the banking sector. And as I began reading that book, I was like, wow, I need to get into real estate. So at that point, I decided I was going to learn as much as possible about real estate. So for 1 year, every single week, I went to every real estate seminar, real estate workshop to learn as much as possible, And I did that for 1 year. And then I ended up getting a real estate mentor. And then worked with that mentor, and then ended up working at lendingtree.com in the States, and then took off from there.
And you said you acquired your first property when you were 24 years?
I was 23.
23 years.
Yes. So, that was from reading the book, and I didn't have the buying power at that time. I'm 23. I'm just, working and, trying to make things happen. And so I spoke to my brother about it, and I was like, listen, I ain't got it all. You ain't got it all. Let's come together. And then that's how we bought our first property.
That's a unique mindset, because in this hemisphere, I'm not sure how often people go into business with their family members. But you seem to have a unique mindset, even at that early 23 years old, considering buying the property. Who instilled that into you? Apart from that book you came across, but there must be some kind of, you think differently.
Yeah, so, I loved reading from a very young age. I was always reading. So I think I was reading a lot of books, and I loved watching the Susie Orman show, which is like a financial literacy show. I used to also watch Dave Ramsey and, different financial shows. So I think it all started from there. And then, you watch it, you listen, and then you implement it by starting to invest in stocks and that sort of thing. Yeah.
When you relocated to Ghana 11 years ago, how was the landscape like?
Crazy.
Can you paint a picture
so,
for us?
I had never lived here before, right? And I hadn't been to Ghana at that time in like 15, 20 years, right? So I wasn't very familiar with the culture. Don't forget, I grew up in Ethiopia. I was there for 17 years. So I learned the language, Amharic. I was, enjoying Ethiopian dishes and that sort of thing. So now I have to come back to my country, learn the language, learn the culture, and kind of, get assimilated into things. And so when I first came, it was a culture shock, And so, and then coming into the real estate sector is totally different to what I had experienced in the States. So it was chaotic.
How was it like then with the real estate market? Because now it's the worst. I mean, it's not. It's treacherous. Like it's a terrain that you need to understand very well, right? In order to be able to succeed and thrive.
Yeah.
Right. And now, I think it's not even that perfect. I can't imagine 10 years ago.
Yeah. So I didn't just come to Ghana and then just jump into a business, right? And that's what I always tell people. First of all, you need to be traveling back and forth for a while. I mean, I did the big leap of faith. I did the big jump. It's not for everybody, right? But you should be coming and going. And then don't just come and start a business. What I did is I worked for different real estate companies. So when I came...
When you came here?
I did.
Okay.
When I came, I worked for a mortgage company. And then from there, I worked for a real estate developer. So why did I do that? Because I needed to understand the terrain. I knew that the real estate market here was different. And so you work with an established company where they can provide you with the training you need, the resources, and the tools to empower you. And then after that, you can start your own business. You know, avoid a lot of the mistakes and pitfalls by working with experienced individuals in that company.
Okay. Was it a local company that you were working with?
I worked with, well, when I first came, I was with Ghana Home Loans. Okay. Which is now First National Bank.
I see.
Yeah. So I studied the mortgage industry. And then from there, I worked with different real estate developers. Yeah.
How was it like when you were working with this developer? Was it easy working with them? What did you really learn that have added a lot to who you are now and the brand that you've been able to build, the brokerage business?
Yeah, so because I worked with Ghana Home Loans, I understood the mortgage industry. So now when people ask about financing, which is the biggest thing people always want to know, I'm able to provide them with that information. Working with the real estate developers, I worked with established private companies so that I could have that one-on-one sort of partnership with leadership, so that way they were able to teach me about how things work, here in Ghana. So I learned a lot about the land title process. I learned about, construction, development, and even marketing and sales. Yeah.
Interesting. There's interesting, when you speak about real estate in Ghana, a lot of people tend to have a very skeptical feeling about it, trying to buy land or even houses. Let's speak about the land the most. I've had so many diasporans email me. They've been duped.
Yeah.
They paid money to another diasporan who located here, and now they don't have their indenture, they don't have this. Why does this keep happening? And what do you think we should do differently, or they should do differently?
Well, all these emails you're getting from people who've been duped. We have people coming into our office telling us they've been duped. They've tried to buy land 3-4 times, right? So my question to you is, what process did you follow? See, that's the question you need to respond to these people in the email. What was your buying process? Because a lot of people don't understand the buying process. What was your buying process? Because a lot of people don't understand the buying process in Ghana.
Can we speak on that?
Yes. So, in fact, we host the first-time home buyers in Ghana seminar every year. Right? This year we're doing it December 21st. Why do we do that? So we can teach people the home buying process in Ghana. You see, once you understand the process, then you can identify the red flags, and then you can avoid becoming victims of real estate fraud. So if you don't understand the process, you're just going to go with whatever. And so I think that's the biggest mistake that people make. In the States, in the UK, there are processes. You go through a title company, you go through a law firm. But when you come to Ghana to buy land, why do you avoid using our escrow service? You avoid using our lawyers. You avoid using an office. You rather just exchange funds with the seller. Like, who does that?
You made mention that people, the diaspora, are buying land like they are buying tomatoes at the market.
Yes, and that's it, because you're not following the right due diligence process. You don't do your due diligence for buying tomatoes, right?
Lay
you just look at it.
What is the due diligence? What would be a actionable plan for a diaspora to purchase a land here in Ghana?
Well, the first thing is you need to engage the services of an escrow company. So Ewell's Realty, we're the only company in Ghana that offers the escrow services, right? So what that means is that your fund, so let's say we're buying a plot of land for 10,000 cedis, okay? So the 10,000 cedis is not going to the seller immediately.
Where's it going
It's going into the escrow account. That is overseen by the lawyer, all right? It's a custodian account, a third-party account. So that's where the 10,000 cedis is. The seller is notified that the funds are here, but we want to go ahead and do the due diligence first. So the escrow agent, the lawyer, will begin to conduct the due diligence, and they will conduct it in 8 different places. What most people know is, oh, let me just run a search at Lands Commission. Oh, it's come back as the owner's name. I'm good to go. You haven't checked the High Court for litigation. You haven't checked property taxes to make sure there are no back taxes. There are so many other places that you need to check. And I'll go into all that on First Time Home Buyer Seminar, right? But you need to check all these places first. Once the lawyer checks and then he gives the green light, then funds are sent to the seller. The sales or purchase agreement is signed, and then the lawyer continues to register your land at Lands Commission.
So the lawyer does that for you?
Yes. So we are here, the pre-process, during the process, and post-process. People don't do that. People usually just pay the seller directly, maybe a deposit. They'll give the seller maybe 10 to 50%, right? And then they do their due diligence and they find out there's a problem with the land. And guess what happens?
They lose their percentage.
They lose their money.
Interesting.
Now, having seen, having heard, it is of great interest to know that the major reason, or one of the major reasons why people, no matter how long they've left their country, the motherland Ghana, would always want to come back to settle in, to thrive, start up life afresh, thrive and do better, and at the end of the day succeed, is because the country is safe for them. The environment is safe for them. The safety, the peace, the security in the country is top-notch, and that is why so many would always want to choose their homeland Ghana, regardless of where life takes them. They would always want to come back, settle in, come back, give back, and come back and start afresh. We've seen, we've heard stories and endless stories like this, and this is one of them. You might even want to think further that the major reason why, when you turn the table around, my own country, Nigeria, when it comes to real estate, a lot is happening, and yes, people are not even talking about it. People are not having this conversation of how on a daily, the high rise and high increase in land grabbing is taking over the system of real estate in Nigeria, or owning a land in Nigeria. And that's why I want to applaud the real estate companies who have come in to stop some of these menace, some of these occurrence and incidents of individuals grabbing other people's property, even in coalition with law enforcement agents and other bodies, to unlawfully take the lands of others in the name land grabbing. And it is a sad experience that you should not even experience. So I would advise, this should be your take home. Whenever you want to invest in land, in real estate, in building, whatsoever, go through the right source. Whether you're coming to Nigeria, you're going to the motherland Ghana, or any country in West Africa, go through the right source, which are legit companies that will give you premium value trust for your money at the end of the day. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are definitely going to revisit more videos like this time to come, so stay glued on this channel. And at this point, if you are yet to like this video, hit on the like button, I beg of you, and let me know what are your thoughts, your opinion, your input, your objective based on the videos you have just watched. Leave them all in the comment section, and let's have this conversation raw and undiluted, wholeheartedly, warmly, without sentiment, without barriers, not to demote anyone, any citizen in Africa, in West Africa, particularly the motherland Ghana, Nigeria, and some other countries in West Africa. Exactly, but to analyze, react, expose, educate, entertain, inspire, motivate, captivate, not just you, but your spirit, your soul, and your body. And once again, I want to say, whatever it is you are going through right there, no matter where you are, it is not the end of the road. At the end of the tunnel, there is always light. So keep your faith high, keep your hopes high. Look up to God, the author and finisher of your faith, because at the end of the day, you are definitely going to finish strong. We are definitely going to finish strong, regardless. I will see you on the other side in my next episode. But for now, keep vibing to your environment, your surrounding, nature, and every good stuff. Positive word vibing to. This is me. This is I, your host, the ambassador, one of the motherland Ghana, hosting you today on this episode. Stay safe, stay blessed, happy, and cheerful as always. And I will catch you in my next one. Ciao, ciao. Mwah.